Today we're talking about something buyers, sellers, and even some realtors don't totally understand. And that's commissions. Where do the commissions go? How do they work? And what are you actually paying for? Let's peel back the curtain and have a look. Hey, I'm Paul Lehmann with the McLaren real estate team at Trek the Real Estate Company. Have you ever wondered, do I have to pay commissions? Why are commissions so high? And what am I getting for that money? If that's you, this video is one you'll want to watch. In Alberta, the most common commission structure is 7% on the first $100,000 and 3% of the balance of sale price. So if you do the math for a $700,000 home, that's going to be about $22,000 in commission. But that whole $22,000 doesn't all go to the listing agent. Half of that will probably end up going to the buyer's brokerage. Then the listing agent is also going to have other costs, such as they're going to have to pay their brokerage a certain percentage or at least a flat fee depending on the brokerage. Then they're going to have to pay costs for things such as photos, and hopefully nice professional photos, measurements, putting up signs, marketing the product, probably on, or at least hopefully on many platforms. And of course, then they're going to get taxed on that, so some of that. When you start doing all the math on that, there's really not nearly as much there as you think. So you're really not just giving your realtor a check for $22,000. You're actually paying for a full process to get your house sold. It's a whole network of people that are involved in this process. So if you're the seller, I already talked about the realtor having costs such as photos, videos, things such as staging advice, actually marketing the property. But there's also so much time spent on strategy, open houses, communications with other realtors about the property. Then we actually get to things such as showing the property, whether they're showing them or putting in place a proper system for other realtors to show it. You finally get an offer. Now it's time for negotiations, all the paperwork, making sure that everything is done legally and appropriately. And then the final piece of their time is probably communicating with you. You're going to want a realtor that's going to let you know what's going on. And on a busy property, that can be multiple communications a day. You know, I've had some contact me 30, 40 times a day to find out what's going on with all the different showings. Even at a couple of minutes each, that's hours of my time each day just communicating with the seller. But that's our job, so that's good. And then I just talked about negotiations. That's one of the main places where the realtor is going to earn their money. Our job is to get you as much for that property as possible. So many people who think they can do it on their own undervalue their property, whether it be because they don't know the market or because they don't know how to access all the sellers or buyers. Another misconception out there is that if you're a buyer, that you need to pay commissions as well to the realtor. In Alberta, that's not the case. The commissions are actually, in most cases, paid from the seller's brokerage to your agent's brokerage. However, indirectly, I guess you probably are paying a bit because a good realtor for the seller is going to reflect that in their price. But what does the buyer do to earn that money? A good buyer's realtor is there to help you from overpaying, whether that be by truly understanding the market and what that house should properly be priced at, or else also noticing little red flags that might be out there. Although we're not inspectors, most good realtors have seen enough properties to be able to look at a house during the showing and say, that's a bit of a weird stain on the roof. We need to look into that. Or, gee, that furnace looks like it's an original. There could be issues with that. So that's certainly one of our jobs where the average person is quite often just stuck in the glossiness of, wow, look at all the space, or wow, look at the finishings on this. So our job is definitely there to help you from overpaying. Also, we're there to put together a contract that protects you. Too many people don't understand different terms and conditions. That's our job. So we can make sure that if there is something wrong with the property, you can get out of that contract. Or if there's things you want done prior to possession, we can make sure that those things get done. We're there to protect you. Always be careful of an agent that's just looking to try and get the job done. Our job is not just to get you the property, but to do it at the price and in the terms that are best for you. Now that we've kind of talked about what the agent should be doing to earn their commission, let's be honest, not every agent does that job. It's unfortunate, but we've all seen, like any industry, the good and the bad. There are many agents out there with a license that aren't necessarily that great of realtors. You want somebody that's going to be there to work for you. You want somebody with experience, you want somebody with knowledge, and really you just want somebody that's there to say, you're my guy and I'm going to make it happen for you and we're going to do it right. A great agent isn't just going to list your property for sale or show a property for you to buy. They're going to spend hours understanding the market, understanding how to position your property. They're going to spend time negotiating. When the other side comes back with a counter, they're going to actually anticipate that counter. So they're going to know what their answer is going to be to try and make the best deal for you. And finally, they're going to be there through the whole process, because unfortunately in real estate, not everything goes smooth right to the end. So they're going to be there to help you through those times, whether it be a late closing or whether, after the fact something goes wrong in the property. All of a sudden there's a flood in the property that you're supposed to take possession of tomorrow. They're there through the whole process, and they will be able to work with your mortgage people and your lender and your lawyers. They'll be able to work with people to make sure that this goes smooth, or as smooth as possible. Something else I often get asked is, hey, can I negotiate my commission? The reality is, of course you can. Commissions are definitely negotiable. But word of caution here. If somebody's willing to discount their own value, what will they be like in negotiations? And I'm not necessarily saying some people who offer discounted rates are bad realtors, but in general, I would think of it kind of like if I'm getting some surgery done. I'm not necessarily going to go to the surgeon that's just going to give me the best price. In Alberta, I know it's all paid for. But I'm still going to look for that surgeon that's going to do the job right. I'm not going to take a chance with my body. A house is your biggest investment you're ever going to make. I don't think you should take a chance with that either. So when you're deciding on a realtor and deciding whether you want to negotiate commissions, ask them questions. Find out what their marketing plan is going to be. Find out how they work in negotiations. Talk to them about what they do and follow up for you. Make them prove to you that they're worth the commission that they're getting paid. Most of them will be. Not all of them, but most of them. I already talked about all the expenses they have, and we're not going to make nearly as much as you think. So a commission shouldn't just be a dollar value. It should be a reflection of the service, the strategy, and the outcome. Are you getting that value? If you're curious about what value should look like in Calgary, or if you just want a second opinion on other discussions you may have had with other brokerages, feel free to reach out to us. You can drop your questions in the comments below and we will answer every one. Again, part of the value we will bring. And hey, hit subscribe if you want the real stuff in Calgary real estate and not just sugar-coated. We like to be honest and upfront with all of our clients. We'll see you on the next video.